But after we returned to Bloomington, our next trip, just a couple of weeks later, was here to the Bloomington Hospital, where our Kate was born on July the 2nd. A Friday morning early, as I recall. I had to go to class later, and there she is, our little darling. What a joy she was to us. This is one of my favorite pictures. This is on the hill above our apartment, above Campus View, and that's Connie pushing the carriage, and over the crest of the hill is Tulip Tree House, which is, of course, a high-rise building. But I really like that picture. This is taken from the balcony of our apartment, a Campus View house, a rainbow. As I said earlier, it was interesting to see from that balcony. Here's a moonlight scene from the balcony. But the time came for us to leave Campus View House in August. The academic year was over, and I had to go back to Miami. My mother and father came up to help us move. Here's my mother with Connie in the living room of our apartment there. You notice our Kenneth Reeve watercolor on the wall, which we had bought in Nashville. We had another rented U-Haul trailer. First we had to go to New York and to Sag Harbor and get some of Connie's things. Here we are having stopped for lunch along the highway in western Pennsylvania, I believe. My folks had their car, and we had our car with the trailer. And there's Miss Kate, sound asleep on the table. Kate was christened in St. Andrew's Church in Sag Harbor, and Lee and Joe were the godparents. And so here we all are on that occasion. And here's the whole family, Connie and me, Nona and Grant, Joe and Lee, and my mother and father. And, of course, Kate. And here's the family gathered at the usual family gathering place in good weather there on the patio behind the house on Main Street, and Kate's there with us in her carriage. This is back in Miami at my folks' house. This is my grandmother there on the left, and my two cousins, Marguerite and Muriel, holding Kate, and my mother. I guess she's trying to attract Kate's attention there. And here's Miss Kate looking like a little waif at this point. But the waif filled out quickly enough, and enjoyed herself very much. And yet another pose. With one of her toys. Working on a tooth there, I guess. We lived in an apartment complex in Miami on North Kendall Drive called Nob Hill, and that's where these pictures are taken. There's Kate getting her bath in the kitchen sink. That seems to be a tradition for babies in the family. And of course, Kate was always a subject of photography. Here I am using a Polaroid camera, taking a picture of her, and Here she is again. This is on these pictures were on a trip to the Keys. And there's the family. Here's Connie and Kate. And these are probably pictures taken in our apartment in Nob Hill. Karen Lennon came to see us at Nob Hill, and so she's in some of these pictures. This is at the pool area in the apartment complex. There's Karen and Kate. And Kate in her sun hat. And this is in one of the areaways in the apartment complex. This is on a trip that we made in the spring up the west coast. There's Connie and Kate. I guess these pictures are also taken in the apartment. Lots of toys. That's our dining room behind us. And it's bath time again. By now she's graduated to the tub. And the Indiana girl. Three generations of Taylor ladies. My mother on the right. Next to her is my grandmother Taylor. And then my Aunt June, my father's sister. And then, of course, Connie and Kate. Our springtime trip in 1972, we started, our first stop was Tampa. That was Tampa Airport. And then we went to Tarpon Springs, where we had never been before. See, there's the Anclote River and all of the sponge fleet. Here comes with a sponge boat that takes you out to see the sponger dive, and we did this. There's the diver going into the water. And here's the diver bringing up some sponge. Our next destination was Homosassa Springs, and this is called the Riverfront Villas. Very nice motel and restaurant resort complex on the bank of the Homosassa River. We had a very pleasant stay here in a beautiful spot. Really a lovely setting. Nearby is ruins of the old sugar mill. This is the boiling kettle. It's has a tree growing on it. This is part of the ruins of the mill itself. Another shot of the mill. It's lunchtime. The Homosassa Springs attraction itself. This is where you can see the fish. This is the fish viewing that area. This is the fish where they're coming to be fed right there. Now you go down inside the kind of a tank and look out through the window underwater at the fish themselves. The river itself is not very long, but it's a very beautiful little river that rises at Homosassa Springs, of course, and flows out to the Gulf. There's kind of a little cruise up the river. It's very unspoiled at that time, and I believe it is still a state park of some sort. And we even went all the way over to Cape Kennedy to see the attraction there. In the summer of 1972, we went to Dallas, where I was being interviewed for a job with the public library. It was hot in Dallas. We spent a weekend there. We visited, of course, Dealey Plaza, where President Kennedy was shot. I believe that pickup truck is just about where his car was when he was hit by the bullets. And this, of course, is the Texas School Book Depository, from which Lee Harvey Oswald fired the shots. These are some pictures of Kate enjoying herself with her little toy that she had. It seemed like she always had. It was one of her first toys, that little cat. She's so big. Now this is in Sag Harbor, and right now there are 11 cousins, and all 11 of them are in this picture. And I think there's little Kate. She's the youngest, of course, at the time. John Angelo is in the very back there, I think, in the first row. And then there's Ann Louise and Alicia, Karen and Mary in the back. And here's Kate and Ann Louise. Ann Louise looks very unhappy about something. And here's Kate by herself, and she doesn't look unhappy at all. Here's Kate with Andrew. Andrew's pushing her around in Gramps' driveway. Who is that? I guess that's still Andrew. And here's Mary, I think, and Andrew with Kate. And who is this? Oh, this is Alicia. Kate and Alicia. In that trip, we went to visit Karen Lennon and her mother, Mrs. Mayer, who took this picture. I think there's Karen, Nona and Gramp, and Connie and me and Kate. This was in August of '72. The end of that summer, we were back to Miami briefly before we moved to Tallahassee. Here's Kate in the patio of my parents' home there by the pool. And I think that's where all of these pictures were taken.